I'm Arthur Moats, and I'm here to tell you about my new book, The Moats Theory of Life. If you haven't picked up a copy yet, I strongly encourage you to. This book not only is a fun read, but it's a guide to helping you become a person of impact and inspiration. If you are ready to take the next step to improving not only your life, but those around you as well, go get a copy of The Moats Theory of Life, and it's available at moatstheory.com. What's up? It's the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke. I'm Arthur Moats, and that's my main man, Deke.
What's up, bro?
Oh, man. Beautiful day out here, man. Beautiful day in the neighborhood, man.
This humidity's getting the best of me.
Seriously?
It's getting annoying. Because I like taking my walks, man, and they just become uncomfortable at a certain point.
See, I think for me, because I'm from Virginia, we have like just this is stupid humidity down
Really?
here. Yeah, it's the worst, bro. Like, you open up your door, you're starting to sweat, like, for no reason. I hate that. So when I'm up here, I'm like, this doesn't bother me at all, man.
Okay. Yeah, it always could be worse. I'm not complaining, but maybe I am. But
of course you are. You're
I'm
deep.
alive, dude. Who cares?
Man.
I'll still take my walk, and it's whatever, dude. I'm fine.
I could dig that, man. But no, man, it's exciting times, man. We talked about how, obviously, last podcast, we were waiting to see any news coming with the NFL. They've had some progress, not the most just yet.
I was going to say, it doesn't seem like there was anything really official.
So from my understanding,
outside of the preseason games, correct?
So from my understanding, two things are official right now. There won't be any preseason games, and they will be cutting the rosters from 90 to 80 men as of now, which is huge. I mean, when you do the math on each team cutting 10 people right now for, whatever reason it may be right now, that's a big deal, man, in terms of opportunities, potential job opportunities and stuff like that, position battles. But those are the two things that have been prevalent. Other than that, we've seen some teams where players are starting to report, especially rookies, as the week progresses, though. Then it will be coming time for like the veteran players. And I think that's where you're going to see a lot more action in terms of concrete ruling on testing and things like that. Because right now, outside of the two things we just talked about from a roster standpoint and from a preseason game standpoint, the two things that they're flirting with are, number one, testing every day for the first 2 weeks. Then if they don't have any positive tests, going and doing bi-weekly tests. And then the other thing,
this is from the start of training camp, or
this is from the start of training camp. Okay. Yeah, even though, for me, I think that's a little backwards. I'm not necessarily worried about them once training camp hits. I'm more worried about it
because you think training camp they're going to be a little bit more locked in.
Right. Well, typically when you come into training camp, now granted, it's not like your traditional training camp.
You're not going to be up at a college or something.
Right. But I just think because of right now, this time of year, think about it, things are still on lockdown, right? You don't have schools opened up just yet. You don't have all the bars being back open just yet. But as this thing progresses, schools are supposed to be opening back up. So you think about the individuals who are living with school-age children, whether it's high school, middle school, elementary, it's going to be a lot more people that they're going to be coming into contact with. And based off what the NFL is saying in their proposal, if you're testing heavy right now, you should have low results. Low positive tests, especially after the first wave, whenever they test all the NFL guys. Of course, you'll have guys that test positive. There have been numbers floating out. We don't know which one's accurate just yet, but they've had numbers float out in terms of the guys who've been tested, how many have tested positive. But my thing is, once you start testing these first 2 weeks, this time frame right now, it's not going to be that bad, but I can see a scenario where you dumb down the testing like they're talking about doing, but then come middle of September when everybody's back in school, people are back being out and things like that, the amount of people that you're going to be interacting with, or your people that you're living in close proximity with, will be interacting with. Now the chances of somebody testing positive, but you not catching it because you didn't test them that week, now you have to worry about how did that spread and who were they in contact with on the team. So instead of you having just one person that should be quarantining, you could potentially have a lot more people quarantining just because of the lack of availability when you tested them.
What's the argument against testing them pretty regularly throughout a week?
Well,
during the regular season,
I'm all for it, but the proposal that the NFL had said was that they would test the players every day for the first 2 weeks. And then if the numbers were low in terms of positive, they would go to bi-weekly tests.
Is it a money thing? What is it then?
I don't know. I personally don't see why they can't. You think about which is crazy to me to this day anyways. Right now, we talked about how it's still a shortage in terms of people having the availability to get tested and stuff like that. But you do the math on 32 teams, 80 players getting tested every day for the first 2 weeks. That's a lot of tests. So I'm assuming that they don't have an issue in terms of acquiring said tests. So I don't see why they couldn't go ahead and proceed with that. Like you were saying, man, them testing them daily. Because I think
or every 2 or 3 days, whatever.
Because the issue is this, man. When you, similar to what we saw in UFC, right? If I can get you, and I know right now that you test positive before you come around anybody else, I can isolate you, I can quarantine you. It doesn't affect the rest of us, what we have going on. When you talk about the every other day or every 2 days set up, you test positive on Wednesday, but we don't know if you had it on Monday or Tuesday prior to that when you were in the building around players, practicing with players, in meetings with players.
Yeah, but then all of them would get tested as well, though.
Understandable, but it's risky. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
very risky.
I'm just saying I think that's more safe or whatever you want to call it than I don't know what their plan is for regular season. If you're saying that they're going to be doing is it every day for 2 weeks? Is that what you said?
Yeah, they said at the beginning what they're proposing,
and then it's every day. It's going to be bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly.
That's what I mean. A couple days or 2 or 3 days a week is better than bi-weekly, at least. Then, if that bleeds into the regular season. If that protocol at least bleeds into the regular season. I just don't
think it's a good idea if you're trying to minimize potential players being exposed to it.
So hold on, what do you mean though? As opposed to the bi-weekly though? Are you just saying just do testing every day?
Just test them every day if you're going to go that route, because unlike the NBA, unlike the MLB, unlike the NHL where it's bubbles where only the players are there by themselves, they're not interacting with their family, they're not interacting with their friends. With football, they're saying that the players are going to, some will be in hotels and everybody else will be at their house. So there is no restriction in terms of who you can see and who you can't see, the places you can go and what you can't do and things like that. Whereas in the NBA, once those guys got to the bubble, they were fine. Once you got tested, you quarantined for the 14 days. It's like you don't have the opportunity to come in contact with somebody who could potentially have COVID. Whereas with the NFL, what they're trying to do in terms of having players, some stay in hotels, some stay in their regular houses with their families and things like that, that's a lot more people that you have to worry about.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's twofold. I think it comes down, I mean, I've mentioned this before, it comes down to what does the individual want to do on each, because, if a person wants to go back to their family, they could decide whether or not to do that, or if they want to bubble themselves throughout the season or not. I mean, that's a whole different situation there. But yeah, at the same time, I guess the NFL could just put it all into their hands and say, you know what, we'll just test every day. That's kind of my question. I don't know what the holdup would be on that for testing every day.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, man. But they definitely did not propose that. So that was the thing that was surprising to me, because I'm like, we joked about this off mic a little bit about, hey, man, if you're going into a big game, playoff game, whatever it is, say Ben were to test positive, and it could be simple as, hey, we all were tested. We didn't test Monday. We're going to test Wednesday. I went out and did something reckless this weekend. I got COVID. I was around Ben on Monday, Tuesday. The likelihood of him getting it is a lot higher than if he would have tested me on Monday prior to me coming in there. I never even get a chance to interact with him.
Right.
So that's my biggest thing. That's why I'm not a fan of the every other day either. I'd rather you just do it daily, because that's going to be the most effective way. And it doesn't seem as if there's a shortage on tests from what the NFL is saying. It doesn't seem like they have a shortage of tests, so I don't see why they can't go about that way.
Dude, I would lose it. I would literally lose it, especially if it's the whole asymptomatic thing, which is something I'm still like, I'm not buying really. If that happened and like he had to sit out like wild card divisional game, dude, I would lose it. I would probably, I don't know, dude. I really don't know. Like if for a podcast, like the day after that game, if we're coming in here, I might not speak. It might just be you talking and I'm just shaking my head the whole time, dude. Honestly, I'd be livid, dude. I'd be boycotting something for a month. Like that'd be bad.
Well, I mean, those are some of the things you have to be concerned about, though, and based off of the proposal, because it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I could understand the NBA taking that approach, especially when you factor in them being in a bubble. They're not interacting with their families. They're not having to worry about when their children go to school. And they're there, and now you got to worry about what they're coming home with and things like that. It's a lot more simplistic. But with this, that's not the case. And that's before we even talk about, like I said, the sheer just numbers of an NFL team with it being 80 guys on a roster right now.
Now, there were a couple other things. Was it pay? Was it guaranteed contract if you want to sit out?
So
injury, like classifying COVID as an injury, what were because we were talking, like I said, we were talking about this off the mic after we were done recording last podcast. What were some of those things that I guess those are still left up in the air, correct?
So what they were talking about is an opt-out clause, similar to what you saw with the WNBA, where some of their players that didn't want to take the chance of playing right now, they could opt out. But if they were medically cleared, they would receive a portion of their contract or a full year's pay for their contract. I think MLB is doing something similar. The thing with the NFL at the time, they hadn't agreed upon the number of the contract in terms of percentage wise, how much they would get. They didn't necessarily agree upon the opt-out clause fully just yet. They're both leaning towards agreeing upon it, but they haven't came up with the number of the, like I said, of the contract just yet. And then along with that, COVID being classified as a football injury, if they were to contract it while they're at training camp and obviously during the season, they still hadn't came to agreement on that, which is huge in terms of just kind of like what I broke down with you earlier. If I sprain my ankle, I could be on the roster right now, but if I'm working out on my own, I sprain my ankle, that is going to be designated as a non-football injury because it didn't happen while I was in training camp. It didn't happen during the football season when I was practicing with the team. It happened on my own account, which means from a contract standpoint, they could void my contract. They don't have to worry about paying me if I would have missed time. There are a lot of other things that go along with that because it isn't designated as a football injury. Now, I can have that exact same ankle sprain happen while I'm in training camp or during the regular season, and it's covered. The team pays for my medical. The team has to pay me my check. If they try to cut me during the process, they have to file an injury grievance, and then after that, I'll receive a compensation of game checks equivalent to how much time I would miss, and obviously there's some other things that go into that whole legality and situation like that, but everything is covered because it would have been classified as a football injury. So what the players were saying was with COVID, if we're coming to training camp and we're going to be here and doing all these other things and we contracted, treat that the exact same way you would treat that ankle injury. Treat that the exact same way as you would treat this elbow injury versus what the NFL initially was trying to say was if you catch it and you have to miss 2 weeks, that's on you.
What about the regular season? I know you mentioned training camp and all that stuff because I feel like regular season, it goes back to the whole, I don't know what the rules are with this whole, you have an ankle injury, you're skateboarding on your own time. Is the NFL covering that? What's the deal with that whole thing?
During the regular season, it has to, if you hurt yourself during the regular season, but it has to be at the facility, it has to be football related for it to be covered. If you're out there skating on your own, if you're jumping at a trampoline park and you get hurt, they're not covering that. That's on you.
That's probably the NFL's argument.
Yeah, so that's what they're trying to say.
You can get COVID. However, it doesn't necessarily have to be at the NFL facility, which is, there's a point that that's going to be something really hard to track.
Yeah, well, without a doubt it will be. Man, I'm messing my mic up over here. But without a doubt it will be. But those are some of the things that the players are asking for, that they want to say that, hey, we want you to do this if we're going to take this risk and stuff like that.
So what's the percentages of the whole ankle injury and all that type of stuff?
What do you mean?
Would you get your full contract?
Full, absolutely, yeah.
So I wanted, and
this is the thing too. So as long if they, most of the time they won't even try to cut you. But it's certain times where if they try to cut you, then you have to fight it. And then from there, you usually come up with the injury settlement saying that, hey, we don't want you on the team, but how many games would you have missed if you hurt your ankle? All right, I would have missed 3 games. Then they'll give you 3 game checks of your, whatever your contract is, 3 of those checks. Some people, they'll say, well, look, man, we'll just keep you up here and just pay you regardless. Don't worry about it. That happens a good amount of times as well, just depending on where you are on the team. It's a lot different when you're talking the top 30 guys on the roster versus the bottom 10 guys on the roster. A lot of times this affects the bottom 10 guys in terms of the legalities of it, or guys that have big contracts that might have got hurt and how they want to play that role and stuff like that. Just the business side of it.
Yeah, with anything, probably it's just meeting in the middle somewhere. Because someone comes down with it, they got to sit out 2 games, and it's probably got to be super frustrating too. It's like, I don't even know how I got this. I don't even feel any of these symptoms, this and that, but I can't get paid. You're not letting me go out there and get paid. So there's got to be some type of compensation, something.
Yeah, well, like I said, that's what the players are fighting for right now. The NFL,
I don't think it has to be the full amount, but man, I'm not going to be completely opposed to that. But I could see the NFL's argument of like, man, you could have got that on your own time.
Oh, very true. But I think that's part of the sticking point. I'm a little frustrated that it took this long for them to even have these conversations.
You were telling me about that.
I mean, they knew about this. They had the most time out of all the other major sports in America to prepare for this. They wasn't during their season when this came about. they were in the middle of their off season. So they had numerous time to sit down, have these conversations, plan out how we can get over these things, and ultimately find a plan to make sure that it's safe for everybody to be at training camp, and then go from there and go into the season. I feel like they kind of just kicked it down the line a little bit, like, oh man, we'll wait and see, and never really went to the planning phase until the day before training camp was supposed to start. I mean, it was players that were supposed to report on Monday when we talked about the Chiefs and the Texans that didn't happen. But then I think yesterday, it might have been the Chargers yesterday, the Chargers rookies. I want to say I saw Justin Herbert was reporting. But other than that, it's like, why do you wait to the last minute when the rookies are supposed to be reporting? And then in a couple of more days, you're going to have the veterans that are supposed to be there. And for a fact, if they don't get this thing situated, then you could definitely see a lot of those guys not potentially showing up because of that. So it's just a lot going on with it, man. I feel like they waited just too long to do this.
I feel like they're going to work it out, though. I think there's too much money involved on both sides. For like, players are going to want to get paid. You want to continue your career, but then at the same time, owners, management, all that. I think there's just too much money involved that I think both sides are. You've been seeing that hashtag floating around, even with the players, like the hashtag we want to play, but here's some of the things. It's kind of like what was happening with some of the baseball stars back like a month or two ago, whenever they were calling out the commissioner, like, we want to play, we just want like this type of stuff to be in place. Now, I got one more thing I wanted to ask, because I asked you this off the mic too, because I think this would be something interesting for the listeners to hear, get this perspective. Now, they brought up the whole face mask over the helmet, like I guess the face mask over the face mask, right?
Well, no, and not like in a visor, face guard. Yeah, not the visor that covers your eyes. You're talking about
like a mouth, a mouth guard,
mouth visor type thing,
whatever you want to call it. They're concocting this type of this invention to put on the helmet here. Yeah. Now, what do you think of that?
I think it's nonsense, man. I don't see that happening at all. Any of my former athletes out there, any of the former football players out there, if you wore a visor at any time during your career, bro, this mic is like blowing me right now. But just because it keeps falling, we're good though. Okay. Yeah, but any of the former athletes out there, especially football players that have worn visors that just cover your eye part, you understand from a breathing standpoint, it's very difficult to breathe with it. A lot of times, even during training camp, guys take the visor off because you don't get a lot of air. It's kind of like riding the car with the windows up, but no air conditioning on. It sucks. Or you could just crack your window a little bit. That's about the air you're getting in. It's not the best situation, but at least you can breathe out your mouth. Now, you talk about putting a visor or face guard where your mouth is supposed to be. That blocks a ton more air. And it's not the best, man, in terms of guys just being able to be in condition for that. I mean, you think about when you work out or if you were going on a run, imagine if something's just sitting right in front of your face, you can't breathe in and out. That sucks. It's not going to feel good. It's definitely going to put a damper on your performance. You might even pass out from it. So for me, man, I don't think that's going to happen, man, because I know players, they're not going to want to rock with that. It just makes zero sense. If you got to do all that, you might as well not even be out there because it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I had no clue. I'm seeing this stuff being thrown out there. I'm like, I mean, does it help? I really have no clue.
Not at all, man. Not at all. And this is the thing too, man. And I think that's why it's important too with the testing element of it. Similar to what we see with the UFC.
You shouldn't have to worry about that then.
Yeah, well, similar to what we see with the UFC. They're not having those guys go in the ring and fight with a mask guard. Yeah. No, they're testing them prior to the fights, making sure they're good to go, and then they go out there. So I think similar to if it's game day, you make sure you test the guys a day or two or whatever the time limit needs to be beforehand. So that way you know everybody's good once you go out there. Otherwise, there's no point in going out there. If I got to wear this face guard and all this other nonsense, man, to play football, like, it's not going to be the best situation for anybody out there.
Understood, man.
Now, what were your thoughts, though, man, seeing the rosters get cut down to 80 men and no preseason games?
Oh, man. Dude, it is what it is, man. We know what preseason is.
Okay, here we go. Dude, here we go.
As a fan, come on. It's nice because it's just a hype up to the season. It's a ramp up, but... yeah. You know what the quality of games are compared to the actual regular season. You want to be seeing the stars out there. I'm only seeing Ben. I think last year it was only Juju and Connor and Ben in that week 3. And years past, it was the same thing with Bell and AB. It was just that week 3 game. They would come out there and play for a quarter or two. Dude, outside of that, it's like, it's nice. You know, someone gives me a preseason ticket and maybe I got a date. I want to take her down to the game or something. But other than that. You
can take her to the preseason game, not the regular season? You cheap dog. Wow.
I'm not buying a preseason ticket. First off,
I always say you want to go on a date with me. I'm taking to the preseason.
No,
Week 4 preseason.
No, what you do is you work around it. You go out to eat beforehand. You go out for drinks after, something like that. It's not. I guess it would be the main show, but at the same time, you're doing other things around it. So, dude, I mean, it's whatever, man. It's not something I'm really upset over, to be honest with you, and I don't think it's that surprising. It's kind of whatever to me.
That is funny.
The 90 to 80 roster, I probably have the same feeling, to be honest with you. It's whatever, man.
I can dig that. So for me, man, I look at it from the player standpoint. It sucks if you're a bubble guy. It sucks if you're trying to earn a spot. It sucks if you're drafted in round 5 through undrafted, because your evaluation period is over. You talk about guys like a Matt Filer, who he said, I mean, he was starting at right tackle last season. He's probably going to be starting at left guard this year. He doesn't make the roster without a preseason. You talk about a guy like Ramon Foster, who started for the Steelers for 11 years. He doesn't make the roster without a preseason. I definitely don't make the roster without a preseason, man.
How much of it is preseason versus the training camp and the practices and all that stuff, though?
For a fact, game over that any day.
Really?
Yes, because this is why. You talk about a guy like Ben, you talk about a guy like L. Bell, AB, Juju, right? Doing practice, so you only have 2.5 hours of practice, and that includes individual, that includes your warm-up, stretch, everything that's going on, right?
Don't you have more time during training camp, though?
No.
2.5 hour practice.
Hours, absolutely.
What else are you doing? You studying and doing all that other type of stuff? Okay.
So on the field, you only have 2.5 hours, so you do not have a lot of time. So that's why you traditionally see, if you come to like a training camp practice, you'll see them say they're working on first down, second down plays today. All right, this day is going to be working on 2-minute offense. This day they're working on situational third down plays, because you do not have a lot of time. But this is the issue with that. During practice, your starters get the majority of the reps. So if you're an established guy, if you're the Big Bens and all these other guys, that's why during OTAs and training camp, they take the lion's share of practice reps. But when the games come about, they don't play in the preseason game, because that's the opportunity for the young guys to get out there and get there to show what they can do. Because if you're in practice, you want to make sure your guys are getting ready for the season. Your starters, they're getting ready for the season. I'm not worried about you winning a preseason game. I need you to be ready for when we open up versus whoever it is. But with that being said, that means the young guys, the rookies, or the new additions to the team, they're not getting a lot of those reps. They might see, I mean, in a day, it's been times in training camp where a player might have saw 10 snaps total. 10 snaps total. That's not a lot of football. And you're talking about evaluating that guy. You ask a guy like Vince Williams, you ask a guy like Terrence Garvin, who played in Pittsburgh for 5 years, I want to say. It was days where they might have had 2 or 3 reps on defense in practice per day. How are you going to make a proper evaluation on those guys who were major contributors to the team from a special team standpoint? Obviously, Vince graduated and made big plays on defense. Is going to more than likely be the starter on defense this year as well. You don't get those evaluations off of practice alone. They made their hay doing the preseason games. You know, okay, first preseason game, starters might be out there for a quarter. That means I got 3 quarters to go out there and show what I can do. All right, now I've done those 3 quarters. Hopefully I get a little bit more reps in practice the next game. All right, second preseason game, I'm going to probably get a half. That's about it. All right, make sure I put my best foot forward, because I know in practice that going into that third game, I'm not getting no reps in practice, because that's the dress rehearsal, right? That's the game we saw Ben in. All the other starters you'll see in that third game. Now in Pittsburgh, they don't play them as much, but traditionally, you play your starters into the coming out of the third quarter.
Sometimes they do. Yeah, depending on what team.
So then the big evaluation game for a lot of the young guys becomes what? That 4th preseason game that nobody really watches. But we talked about how many guys have made their chance or made the roster off of that 4th preseason game and ultimately helped them be on the team. So when something happened, they were able to step up, become a contributor. And then from then, the story goes on and on and on. You ask Antonio Brown, does he make the roster as a 6th-round pick his rookie year with no preseason game? That's just how it goes, man. You need those games for the proper evaluation, because you don't get those opportunities in practice if you're not one of the top 20 to top 30 players on that team. That's just how it is.
It's interesting because I was listening to this one interview. I think the Herd was interviewing Jimmy Johnson, and he was coming. He asked him about it was like the same exact topic. He asked Jimmy Johnson, he's like, did you like preseason games? And I'll be curious to hear what you have to think about this. But whenever he asked Jimmy Johnson, he was like, to be honest with you, it was just like, whatever. So I wonder how much of it has to do with, that portion of the guys that are trying to make the team. 'Cause I bet you if you ask Ben, you ask some of these dudes that are already on the squad, they're like,
that's what I just said though.
Yeah, no.
So for me, when I saw them make this proposal, I said, "Oh, for the veterans, you love this."
Yeah.
If I'm a veteran guy, if I'm a bubble guy as a veteran guy,
you being a veteran on the Steelers, like you'd probably be jumping for joy.
Absolutely, because you mean to tell me if I've been in the league 5-6 years, you mean to tell me a rookie is going to come in here have 4 weeks to number one, learn the scheme. Number two, physically get adjusted to this speed, to this style of play. And then number three, you got to be productive on top of that. You only got 4 weeks to do that. And you're not getting a ton of plays every day. Oh man, I'm kicking my feet up because I know for a fact I'm going to kill you in practice. That's easy money. My biggest, man, for me, every year once I got later in my career, I was more so concerned about the game, the preseason game, because I said in practice, it's nothing you're going to do in practice is going to ever make me look bad. Like, I'm going to dominate practice. I know how to
You worried
operate.
about the dude balling out in preseason?
Absolutely. It's the game. A guy go out there in a preseason game and go out there and do something crazy. Now you're like, dang, now I got to come over here and I really got to step up this week because they're going to be high on this guy right now. All because of the game. Because guys in practice, you can beat a guy in practice, but because as a rusher, right, you can have a great rush, beat the guy. You can't touch the quarterback, so you have the uncertainty. Did he make the sack? Did he not make the sack? How many times have we seen players in preseason games and in the regular season win a rush, miss the sack? Jarvis Jones, he did that a ton of times in terms of having a great rush, couldn't finish the rush. That's the part that you see in the game. If you go off of practice, though, it's plenty of guys that look like first ballot Hall of Famers based on practice. That you would, and veteran guys, because they just understand the floor of practice. They understand their opponent because they've been seeing him every single day. So they just know how to win against that guy. Then you put them in a stadium setting, they're a little tired now. Oh, it's not the control situation of, I know these are only first and second down plays. So all I'm getting is either run or play action. Oh, it's third down. Let me make sure I worry about hard count. It's easy in practice. I mean, that's just me as a veteran. I know, okay, you talk about third and short, ball key. You go hard count on the first one. You might go quick count on the second one. Third one is up there. It's 50-50. In a game, I don't have that luxury. In a game, that can happen at any time. That's why the preseason matters from an evaluation standpoint. Like you said, the top 20 to 30 guys, you're not worried about it. No, Ben has never had to worry about it because he was a first-round draft pick. It's different if you ask a Gardner Minshew, though. Starting quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars, came in as a sixth-rounder last year. I guarantee you his perception of preseason is drastically different. You ask Tom Brady, his perception of preseason drastically different.
Wow, so, you're using Brady against me.
Well, just because when you bring up Ben, you have to understand.
You said AB too, yeah.
Absolutely. It's a difference when you're a first rounder. Your job security is totally different. When I say, remember if you're not drafted in the first 3 to 4 rounds, you need to worry about your spot. If you're drafted the first 1 to 4 rounds, you're good in this situation because just by your draft status alone, the team is going to make sure that they accommodate you. They're going to make sure you get every single opportunity. How many times do we talk about first rounders, second round players being bust, right? This guy sucks, but he never lived up to his potential.
This was after 4 or 5 years.
Absolutely. Whereas with a sixth rounder,
at least three.
Whereas with a sixth rounder, how many opportunities do you think he's going to be how many opportunities do you think he'll get to be a bust?
Not too many.
He go out there and stink it up.
So you got to ball out. So actually, I'm reading in between the lines here, and what you're saying is you have that it factor. You came through clutch your rookie year.
Well, no. For me, man, it was more so the preseason games ultimately got me up. It got me the opportunity.
You balled out when it counted.
Absolutely.
I'm giving you props.
But that's the thing, though. No preseason game. If it was just based on my practice tape, man, I'm cut 30 times.
Really?
Absolutely. Because in practice, they're going to put you in very difficult situations. They're going to put you in situations that aren't even realistic at times. They're going to put you in situations where it's like, hey, I know you don't know this call because in the game, this is the difference, right? In practice, we might have 60 calls that we've installed. I will call any of those calls at any moment in practice. Your job to know it. When it comes to the game, though, for the preseason games, they're telling you right now, look, we're only calling 30 calls this game. These are the 30 calls you need to know. A lot easier to prepare for that, right? You can go out there. And so even if you're a guy that's still...
Probably easier to dissect like this call in this situation too.
Or if you're a guy who's still not as comfortable with the scheme, because remember, between OTAs, rookie minicamp, depending on when you got on the team, who knows how long you've been in the system. So at least you know, okay, I know these 20 calls, great. I can go with that. I'm good to go. Whereas in the practice setting, hey, Deke, man, I know you just got here last week, but I'm going to call play 45 on this list. Go out there and execute it. Oh, and don't forget the empty check, or when we start 3x1 and we motion over here and then it starts to that and it goes to that. Know every single check. So now you got to mentally know what you're doing. That's on top of the physical, making sure you're in shape enough and physically good enough to perform. And then that doesn't even account for you actually being productive and making a play. It's a setup, man. But if you're the veteran, like I said, the veteran guys, I love it. If you're a vet, you love this situation because you know for a fact
fans are. I'd say fans are probably on the fence with it.
Yeah, but I think it's different too from a fan perspective. Kind of like what you said too. You look at it more from the entertainment value.
I think there's certain things about preseason that brings hype into the like seeing Kyler Murray play last year. Some of the rookies coming in, it's not really as much for the Steelers just because we have our guys pretty much set in place.
And that's what I was saying. Like that's the entertainment standpoint, right? But when you talk about actually evaluating and constructing your roster to get the best people out there, just imagine, for example, 10 years ago, no preseason, and they say, hey, look, man, I like this receiver more because we either drafted him earlier or I'm more familiar with him versus this 6th rounder in Antonio Brown. And you say, you know what, let's cut Antonio. I haven't seen him in a game. I know this guy. He looks great in practice. Only been here 4 weeks. This guy's been on the team for a couple of years. Now we roll with him. Just think about how big of a mistake that could have been.
I don't think we would have done that though.
No, all right.
I don't think we would.
Okay.
It's AB.
Yeah,
man.
okay.
I think
No. You
test.
saying it's AB. He was not AB then. He was Antonio. Absolutely. Stop playing. Stop it.
Hey man. Eye test.
Yeah,
There could be
okay. So where was the eye test?
There could be some scouts with that natural scouting talent.
So with the natural scouting talent, why was it year one the main guy out there then for this eyeball test?
You gotta work a little bit though.
Now you gotta work a little bit.
You gotta work a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
All right.
I'm not saying the work isn't bad.
All right. So that's my biggest issue with the whole preseason thing, though, man. But like I said, for my veteran guys, man, big shout out to y'all.
But in terms of the player, though, say he gets cut in that scenario, depending on how bad he wants, like he'll make it. It makes it a little bit harder. It does make it. But I'm saying at some point in the NFL.
So let me get to the caveat. You ready for this?
All right.
Traditionally, because good guys get cut every year in the preseason, but you know what their saving grace is? Every team has access to the game film. Every team doesn't have access to your practice film. So that's why if you play great in practice, but you suck in the game, a lot of times those players stay on the practice squad or they'll be retained to the practice squad because other teams haven't saw what you can do. Please tell me how that works this year when, hey, I want to pick this guy up. I haven't seen him in a game situation.
You just got to have a savvy scout out there that has the great eye test.
But this is the thing. The scouts from the other teams, how are they going to have opportunity to see this guy in an NFL setting? They won't.
You got to go off college then. I mean, if the player's that young, if the player's that young, maybe he was on your radar, maybe he was on your draft board, but the Steelers came up and scooped AB in the 6th round. You were thinking about taking him. That's when you bring him in.
Okay. It sounds good. It sounds good.
It does sound good. I'm completely not trying to knock what you're saying at all. I'm really not. I guess I'm just bringing up this funny scenario.
No, it's all love, man.
I mean, if it's AB or if it's Brady, even if they do get cut somehow, they're going to find a way. Like the greats will find a way somehow.
I understand what you... No, it doesn't have to be a great. I think about a guy, Vrabel. Vrabel got cut in Miami, got cut in Pittsburgh, and then ultimately he went to New England. Harrison. Absolutely, it happens. But their saving grace was they had game tape out there from the preseason games. It
definitely does make it a little bit harder. Yeah. But you're hoping that this scenario is only lasting a year.
Well, yeah, fingers crossed. But you know how you rolling, man. Mr. No Mask boy, man. Wild boy. So it's all love, man. It might go on to next year.
Nah, man.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Shout out to Ben too, man. He had a mask on again today. Just throwing it out there.
I know. He already wore it, dude.
Yeah, he's sold. He's in there.
Well, actually, I guess I got a confession, man. I guess I have to say something.
No,
dude, it was a tough scenario, man. It was a tough scenario.
Man,
it was a tough. I told you I wore the Steeler game bandana. Listen, dude. Listen. It was for a viewing. It was a friend's. It was their grandpa. It was a viewing. I had to. I mean, you
viewing?
Don't. Yeah, like one of my friends, their relatives passed away. So dude, you can't do that. That's a bad look. I
thought you told me that you would rather just not go because the mask though.
No, not that.
You said you went and go golfing if you had to wear a mask. You went and go to a Steelers game if you had to wear a mask.
Those are completely separate scenarios. Being there for a friend, man.
What you mean?
I told you, it comes down to common sense.
You said you would leave your friends if they had to go wear the mask to go golf. You said I would tell them they can have it, and I'm going home.
Like I said, dude, it's still a completely different.
Wow,
it's a different scenario. Yeah,
you wore the mask,
dude. I told you, man. man. I had
You dirty little dog. Oh, wow. I don't even feel clean anymore next to you, Deke. I can't believe you caved.
I was cleaning without it.
Oh, man, you caved, Deke. No.
You get the scenario.
Not
you get the
Deke.
scenario. I had to be there for my friend.
Never would have thought I would see the day
I had to be there for my friend.
that Eric, sex symbol,
I didn't either. My friends were
wear the mask.
Yeah, my friends were shocked too. I mean,
Wow.
it is what it is.
You must really like that friend.
It's actually my buddy's girlfriend, but it's like it's one of those things you overlook it, man. You gotta be there. Yeah.
So the news that the NFL is proposing that any fan that comes to the stadium will have to wear a mask, you're cool with that now, then, correct?
What are you saying?
I mean, you've already done it now.
It's like already over.
Yeah,
huh?
you've already done it now. You might as well keep going.
I still think it's dumb. So it's tough, man. I was hating wearing it. I was actually so frustrated. I'm looking around. I'm like, this is just.
You know why you were frustrated? Because it wasn't normal. Like you haven't worn it enough. Once you wear it enough, man, it gets comfortable.
That was the one time. That was it. And yeah, that was it, dude. I'm done. I'm done for the foreseeable future. I don't know when I'm gonna have to wear it again.
Ben leads the Steelers to the Super Bowl. Chance to get number 7. You can't go into the stadium without wearing a bandana. You're not watching the game in person.
We're going to the Super Bowl.
If they go to the Super Bowl, I'm gonna be there. You're not coming. I don't have issue wearing masks. I got multiple masks. I told you. It's a fashion statement.
I guess it's for work, dude. I guess it's for work. I talked about this.
It'll be pleasure. That's pleasure. That's not work. That's pleasure.
I told you, man. If if I was working and I had to wear a mask to go to work, I mentioned that I'm kind of privileged here, but I would consider that work. I consider that work. Is that not work?
No, it's not work.
Getting footage and all that stuff.
No, that's not work at all. That's fun. That's living.
It's both. It's definitely both.
But it's more living than work.
Wow. I don't know what to say. I can't say I'm disappointed in myself because I had to do that. I just had to. Like as a friend, as I think a human being, that's something you got to do. I told you it comes back to common sense. Okay. And I'm not letting a mask hold me up from going to see a friend's viewing. I can't.
You get a chance to meet Ben. Would you wear the mask? Ben sitting there. You can't come over here, Deke, without wearing the mask.
Meeting Ben? Dude, I don't know, man. Like,
would you wear the mask for Ben?
What's happening in this meeting? Are we interviewing for the podcast?
It could be both. Interview and he just wants to kick it. Have a little wine and crackers.
All right, both. Yeah, I guess you got to, right?
Oh, you would wear the mask? You would do that?
I guess you got to, man.
You would do that?
It's one of those things. I don't know when that opportunity's coming back around. I guess you got to.
Okay, but that's not a viewing though. You said for the viewing that's different because it was a friend. This wouldn't even be work. This would be just fun.
That's work. Interviewing Ben.
No. The interview is another day. This is just the link up.
Hold on. What's the scenario here? Because do I need to wear the mask for the link up to get the interview?
He wants you. No.
But that's work then.
No. He just wants to hang out with us.
Okay.
But you got to wear a mask.
The interview's set already, no matter what.
Yeah, it's gonna happen regardless.
With mask or no mask, though, the interview.
Mandatory mask.
Yeah. So I got to wear it for work anyway. So it's one of those things.
No, but the interview is 6 months from now.
6 months.
Yeah, so it's not even like, you got plenty of time.
I feel like that would help for the interview, though.
You would wear the mask. You would wear the mask.
I think that would help for the interview, though. Getting information.
No, I wouldn't.
Building that connection.
No, not when you're drinking. That doesn't help at all. I said we're drinking wine, eating crackers.
Well, the mask is going to be off then if we're drinking wine.
Well, apparently, remember when the bars was open, they said you're supposed to keep the mask on.
This is what I mean. This is what I mean back to common sense. It's just ridiculous, dude.
I saw people in there with masks. I drove by. I did a drive-by like, ew. And they had the mask down here, drink, put the mask back on.
This is outside?
Outside and inside.
No,
yeah.
the outside, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
both of it's ridiculous to me, but outside, that's even pushing the boundaries way too far there.
Don't shoot the messenger, baby. I'm just reporting the news.
Listen, dude, it was like I said, it was one of those things. I guess I felt the need to come clean there. I had to. It wasn't brought up before, but once you bring it up, I was like, you know what? This didn't happen.
So you know what? It makes a lot of sense now.
What?
When did this happen? This was over the weekend?
A couple weeks ago.
You know what it is?
What?
So when you came in here on the other day, you was all buttoned up. You had the shirt, no taco meat showing. It's like you felt you felt just vulnerable, man. And now you're back feeling comfortable again.
This was before that.
Nah, it's cool, man. I'm going with that narrative. Don't worry about it. Yeah, Deke felt just bad. Covered it up.
Nah, dude, I was good about it. It's just one of those things, man. Like I said, that's a way worse look as a human being, I think.
Nah, man, it looks clean, man.
What if I don't go? If I say, hey, man, I'm not coming because of a mask.
You should be like, bro, you stand by your principles, man.
No, right. That's actually the funny thing.
Stand by your principles, man.
I'm close enough to my friends, I think, where they would have been like, "That's just Deke. Like I'm not losing a friendship over that. He's just ridiculous so far out there."
Okay.
I think that's how cool I am with my friends, but at the same time, there's no way. I just wouldn't have done that. It's just
checking.
That's just foolish in my opinion.
Just checking. All right. So now that we're done with the NFL update, talked about a little preseason, talked about a little COVID mask gang and all that. Shout out to Steeler gang too, man, since that was the bandana you wore, right?
I did. I think it was the black one. The black one with yellow lettering.
That's fire. That's fire. Nice touch to the viewing too. I like that. That's wow. That's some Deke for you right there, boy.
Yeah, dude.
That boy
had some ripped had my black ripped jeans on too.
Did you have taco meat showing?
I had a similar shirt to this
There we
one.
go.
I had a similar shirt.
I like it.
I think so, yeah.
I like it. So now that we're past all that, man, what we really came to talk about, some hard-hitting football here. We wanted to rank the different divisions based on quarterbacks.
Yeah, this one was a good one, dude.
Absolutely was.
This one was a good one.
So just a little precursor. Got the list initially from the NFL. Shout out to Adam Shine. I think it's how you say his name. So just to give you context on who he ranked, which divisions he ranked in their order. Mm-hmm. He had the number one quarterback division being the NFC South. Obviously, they have Matt Ryan, Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Brees, Tom Brady. Then the number two division he had was the NFC West with Kyler Murray, Jared Goff, Jimmy Garoppolo, Russell Wilson. And number three, he had...
there was an article for this?
Yeah.
Did you send me the article?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good, bro. You're good.
I was going to say.
Yeah, because I didn't want... Like, the only reason I read the article just to give people context, but my list and your list, I wanted to be just us pure.
Oh, just pure.
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
I was going to say, I didn't look at
good,
anything
bro.
here.
Yeah.
I was running some analytics too.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping. That's what I wanted. All right, so at number three, they had the AFC West with Drew Lock, Patrick Mahomes, Derek Carr. They said Tyrod Taylor or Justin Herbert, depending on who wins that starting job. At number four, the AFC North, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, Ben Roethlisberger. At number five, they had the NFC North. They said with Mitchell Trubisky or Nick Foles, Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, and Kirk Cousins. At number six, the AFC South with Deshaun Watson, Phillip Rivers, Gardner Minshew II, put some respect on that, and Ryan Tannehill, Deke's boy. Now, the AFC East, when this article came out at the time, Cam Newton was not signed. So they have Josh Allen, Ryan Fitzpatrick, or Tua Tagovailoa. For the Patriots, like I said, they just had Jarrett Stidham. We're going to include Cam Newton on our list, though.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and then they had Sam Darnold. And then at number 8, bringing up the rear.
They have someone underneath that AFC East with Stidham there? What?
They have NFC East.
What?
Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones, Carson Wentz, and Dwayne Haskins.
Dude, that's ridiculous.
That's why I didn't send it to you. I said, I don't even want us to even be convoluted with this. Let's just go off for ours, bro.
Okay. Yeah. That's absurd. Dude.
Yes, without a doubt, bro. Without a doubt.
I mean, I'm just going to say, I think actually, because these later ones, I was going back and forth with it. I'm not going to say anything, but let me just put it this way. The NFC East and the AFC East with Cam and the AFC East is close to me.
Okay.
I'll just put it that way. I don't know if I do have it ranked a certain way now, but I might flip. We'll see.
All right, so I'll go ahead and list my 8 first, and then you list your 8, and then we'll go out there.
Dude. Okay.
That sound good? Or do you want to go our top 3, debate that, and then go from there?
I think I like that because I think I like that better.
What, doing our top 3 and then from there 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8?
Yeah.
Okay, so my first 3 I have at number 1, the NFC South. Obviously, Brady, Breeze, Ryan, and Teddy Two Gloves. Can't go wrong with that. Yep. At number 2, I had the NFC West, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Jimmy G, and Jared Goff. And then at number 3, I had the AFC North, Big Ben, Lamar, Burrow, and Baker. So
where do you have the NFC North?
I haven't got to them yet, man.
Okay, but
you said list my top 3. Which one do you want? You want the top 3? You want the top 8, man? Which one you want?
You have an 8.
It's 8 divisions. We got to rank the division. What we talking about here, man?
All right, my top 3. I got NFC South for sure. AFC North at 2.
Wouldn't surprise me,
dude. Well, so
doesn't surprise me at all. All right,
I have NFC North at 3, but I was going back and forth between them and the NFC West for 3 as well. Okay. I'm interested to. So where do you have NFC West? You have them as 2.
Yeah, NFC West is 2.
Are you just that high on Russ then?
What do you mean? I'm high on Russ. I'm high on the rookie of the year. And
I'm high on Murray too. Yes.
Jimmy G proved that he can be a really good quarterback.
That's my thing.
Postseason, okay, debatable for the postseason, but he still proved during the regular season that he's a really good quarterback. And then Jared Goff, he's been a 4,000-yard passer and led a team to the Super Bowl as well. So on this list, three have led their teams to the Super Bowl. One has actually won it, and then one's the offensive rookie of the year.
When I look at the
AFC North, though, I look at the AFC North, I'm like, okay, you got Big Ben and Lamar. Burrow, we don't know what he is just yet. Obviously, he was the number 1 overall pick, but we saw with Baker, that doesn't mean a lot. And then the fourth quarterback is Baker. So that's what my concerns are. Baker had one good year and then one really bad year. So outside of Lamar and Ben, that's not a lot going on in that QB division. I'm more high on Ben and Lamar, which is why I have them at 3. Whereas I think the list though initially had them lower because they might not be as high on those two.
Yeah, I think I really got to put the NFC West at 3 then, because when I'm looking, you're right. When I'm looking at Goff and Garoppolo as the last 2 versus, see, what the NFC North has though is Cousins. I think whenever I was doing this, I was given the nod for, just the top guys. Once I kept going lower, it was like less weight I was putting on the comparison between the two, which I would have Cousins over Goff or Garoppolo.
Okay.
But at the same time, no, you know what? I'm going to stick with the NFC North because Rodgers and Wilson, I'm definitely taking Wilson for sure. But wait,
no, go
Rodgers
ahead,
versus Wilson? I'm definitely taking Wilson. But then you go Stafford versus Kyler. Right now, I like Stafford.
Okay.
But I do think Kyler's going to have a really big year and could surpass him. And that's what I mean. Cousins versus... I don't even know who you would put at the 3 spot between Jimmy G and Goff.
I'll probably go Cousins.
I would still put Cousins over either one, and then you're going Foles versus the other 2. I don't know.
Neither one of them are beating out Goff or Garoppolo, man.
Who, Cousins?
No, I'm talking about. I mean, it's debatable
Foles?
with Cousins, but I'm talking about Foles or Trubisky. Neither one of them are beating out Garoppolo or Goff.
I'm assuming it's Foles though. I would be interested to see Foles with the Bears system though.
Fair enough.
And what I could say about Foles that I can't say about Goff and Garoppolo is just that balls to the wall playoff run that he had. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'll stick with the NFC North though. I'll stick with them at my 3.
What I want to know is how is the AFC North at 2 over either one of those NFC West or NFC North?
I like having the 2 elite guys. So if I'm looking at this list, I got 2 elite guys where all the other ones that I have below and even some of the ones that I have at the bottom. I only have 1 elite guy in the NFC North. I only have 1 in the NFC West with Russ. I got 1 in the AFC West. And I got none from there on out. So I got 2 elite guys, and I'm gonna put
the NFC North and the NFC West from top to bottom are more stacked than the AFC North, though.
Wait, who was the second one you said?
The NFC West or the NFC North?
Over the AFC North?
Yes.
Okay.
Wilson right now. Russell Wilson over Big Ben. You could say Lamar over Murray, but then Garoppolo over Burrow.
Yeah, but
and then Goff over Baker.
The difference between Lamar versus Murray is big, though. Lamar just won MVP.
And Murray just won Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, but that's a big difference. And I think, if you want to say Russ over Ben, whatever. But, obviously I'm taking Ben, but I can see the argument for someone saying, Wash, or if you want to take, whatever. I'll say Wash, or even if you want to say Russ. That difference between Lamar and Murray is way more than between Ben and Russ.
AFC North? Aaron Rodgers and Big Ben, you could say Wash. Lamar isn't that much better than Stafford.
Oh, yeah.
No,
definitely.
No. Numbers-wise, no, he's not.
Definitely.
Obviously, he brings more to the table with his legs. I think that's a huge part of it.
That's what I mean. I have Lamar in my elite tier. That's what I mean. I have my elite tier, and I have Stafford in the tier below that.
I got you on that, and I can go with that. I agree. Lamar is elite.
And that's what I mean. I think Stafford and Murray are close, but I think Lamar's head and shoulders above both.
Fair enough. But Cousins and Foles, or Cousins, Foles, and Trubisky versus Burrow and Baker?
Yeah, that's the tough one.
Not close.
No, this was my whole thing though. I really value the 2 elite guys, and because I think Baker could overtake Cousins this year.
We haven't seen it though.
In terms of being a better quarterback. I think
Cousins been super consistent.
After Baker's rookie year, I think a lot of people would have put them in the same tier. Maybe even put Baker over top of him.
We saw him when he had to have another season and what that looked like, and then people were saying he was barely top 20.
And this is what I mean with the whole weighing thing, dude. I don't think there's that much difference right now.
I think there's a big difference between Cousin and Baker. Big difference. big time difference.
Big time.
Absolutely.
I don't know
Not
about
even
that, dude.
close.
I think Baker's going to bounce back this year.
You
though.
can think he's going to bounce back, but what shown?
I'll absolutely give you right now that Cousins is the better quarterback,
Yeah.
but I don't think the gap's going to be that big whenever we're saying the end of the year. If anything, I think
a big gap
I think
regardless how
some
you
could
look
be
at it,
saying
man.
Baker's going to be better than Cousins.
I'm not hearing that right now, man. I'm hearing people saying that Baker don't look good this year. He's a bust. That's what I'm hearing.
No, if he doesn't look good, correct. Yeah, he might lose his job, but I don't think he will. I think he's going to be fine.
Kirk Cousins, dude, you realize, let's see, Kirk Cousins had a down year last year with 3,600 passing yards, but he had 4 years in a row over 4,000.
Dude, I'll give it. He's an efficient quarterback. I mean, he's an efficient quarterback, but still, I think Baker's upside's better than him for sure.
That's debatable, man.
I think his upside's definitely better. And, if you look at Baker's rookie year, that's probably comparable to any of Kirk Cousins' best years.
No, not even close. Baker's rookie year?
Yeah.
So Baker's rookie year, let me pull it up real quick.
He threw for like 30 touchdowns.
So Baker's rookie, he had 3,700 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, 14 picks. 14 picks. Let's see.
But he only played 13 or 14 games, too.
So let's see. He played 14 games, 13 starts. Maybe he took over the Thursday night game versus the Jets that year.
Yep.
So with Cousins throughout the past, like I said, last year was probably the best year you could say from a comparison standpoint, where he threw for 3,600 yards, but he still had 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. The year before that, 4,200 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, 10 picks. The year before that, 4,000 passing yards.
I don't think that's that far off, and
that's a big
with only him starting 13 games and playing 14 games
man.
total. So, dude,
and I'm naming multiple years. You only named 1 year for Baker.
Well, that's what I mean. He's only played 2 years though.
Exactly. So you got to take both years into account.
I'm not saying Cousins isn't better right now. I'm saying Cousins
it's not
is
close.
Close right now. I don't know, dude. I just think Baker's gonna have I don't know. I'm not gonna say better year than Cousins, but it's gonna be where those two are probably gonna be neck and neck when it's all said and done after this year.
Well, I like your faith in Baker. I'm not seeing it right now, bro.
It's weird because I don't think he's like that crazy good, but I don't think Cousins is that crazy good either.
Cousins never say it is though.
You know I'm really high on my league guys. That really what comes down to my list. Where I'm not weighing those dudes as much.
I'm just saying, man, full body. We talking about 4 quarterbacks in here. You name 2, and then the other division you name 2 where it's not that far off. That's all I'm saying, man.
Which one? What are you talking about?
You said you're big on your 2 elite guys.
I am.
I'm saying Big Ben and Lamar is not that drastic over Wilson and Murray or Aaron Rodgers and Stafford, where Garoppolo, Goff, Cousins, or Foles don't matter. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think Baker's that far off from any of those guys. I really don't.
I think he is right now.
And that's probably, I mean, that's reflective of our list then. I mean, Burrow's the thing that kills the AFC North. Actually, it depends on how you want to spin it. If you want to spin it that national championship, best college career ever, not college career, best college year ever. Yeah. But I mean, if you want to spin it that way, then I mean, some people might have Burrow over Goff and Garoppolo.
Okay, but
I'm not going to do that because I know it. I mean, it's a rookie; he's coming in, but I think there's some upside there. I think he could be better than Goff and Garoppolo and those guys. But
we're gonna find
in his rookie year, it's going to be a tough thing. So that's the thing that kills the AFC North for me. But like I said, I'm really big on those top 2 guys, and I just don't think the margin between Baker and Goff, Cousins, and Garoppolo is that much. That's my thing.
I guess that's where we differ. All right, so at number 4, so I'll go 4 through 6 right here. At number 4, I have the AFC West with obviously Mahomes, Derek Carr, Drew Lock, Tyrod, or Justin Herbert, whichever one. Then I have the NFC North at 5. Obviously, 8 Ron, Mr. Rogers, Stafford, Cousins, and Foles or Trubisky. And then at number 6, I got the AFC South with Deshaun Watson, Phillip Rivers, Gardner Minshew II, and your boy Ryan Tannehill.
Dude, I was trying to find my email here because I send my notes to my email. Could you say those again? You don't got to say the names. No. Just the divisions.
So at number 4, I got the AFC West.
Okay.
At number 5, I got the NFC North. And at number 6, I got the AFC South.
AFC West over NFC North. Mm-hmm. Interesting. You just going with Mahomes then? He's that valuable?
I look at Mahomes, number 1, but then... So for me, I have Mahomes over Aaron Rodgers, right?
I thought you were going to have AFC West way lower.
Nah, so Mahomes over Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
And let's be real, Mahomes is the best quarterback on this list. So from there, I have Derek Carr and Stafford. I'm like, that's not that far off.
Whoa.
I don't think that's that far off, man.
I'm taking Stafford way over
No, you could take him over him, but I don't think it's that far off. If you're willing to tell me that Baker isn't far away from Cousins, then yeah, without a doubt, Derek Carr is a far and away better quarterback than Baker Mayfield is, and way closer to Stafford.
You were talking about Stafford.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the way you just reacted to Derek Carr over Stafford.
I take Baker over Carr.
You're tripping. But
No
that's just my
way.
personal appearance, man. I mean, my personal, perspective on it.
Yeah.
Then I'm definitely going Drew Lock over Trubisky or Foles, whichever one. And then obviously Cousins is good, but I feel like Tyrod is already proven. And I'm excited about Justin Herbert.
No. I take I take Cousins over Tyrod. Who are we comparing then? What do you?
Well, this is my thing. I'm not even. I'm saying the AFC West is better than NFC North because number one,
NFC North. Okay.
Yeah, their top flight guy, Mahomes, is going to be better than anybody on that list. Aaron Rodgers included,
100%.
And then from there, the gap between Stafford and Drew, the gap between Stafford, Cousins, and Foles or Trubisky compared to Derek Carr, Drew Lock, or Tyrod isn't going to be enough for me to put them ahead of those guys.
Oh man, I don't know.
You talk about being top heavy. You named two guys in Big Ben and Lamar and said that that's more than enough for this other stuff.
That's what I mean.
These gaps are way closer though, and Mahomes is way better than Aaron Rodgers.
The AFC West doesn't have like a guy after Mahomes really that you're really feeling good about right now, at least.
What do you mean?
I think Lock's definitely got upside, which is why I actually have them. I have them at 5 because I go NFC West at 4, AFC West at 5.
Okay.
What do I have here? Damn, because I was flip flopping with this shit. Man, I'm dude, because I have the AFC South as the worst right now. But
okay.
I was looking into it more and more. And I'm like, it really depends on Rivers. It really depends on
Fair
Rivers.
Enough. See, I thought you would have them higher because I thought you were higher on Rivers coming back this year.
That's what I mean. Like, part of me is like, do I have Rivers in like that bottom 20 tier with some of these guys? But I don't think I can do that. He still threw for over 4,600 yards last year. I know he threw for a lot of picks, but
you don't care about picks. We know.
I don't that much. And I think he's in a much better situation with the Colts. Dude, so I think AFC East might be the worst.
Okay.
I think I got to bump up the AFC South. Damn it, dude. This is tough. So here, let me give my definitive final.
Right. 4, 5, and 6. Let me hear it.
All right. 4 is NFC West. 5 AFC West. I actually think I got to put... Man, dude, I'll go AFC South. No. Did I say NFC East yet? I'm all over the place, dude. NFC West.
Man, you confused me. NFC West is 4. Okay.
5 AFC West. Those are definitive.
AFC West at 5.
6
okay.
Is...
So it'd be between
6 is NFC East.
Ooh, okay, fair enough. Okay.
Am I sure about that though?
Oh no, you tell me. You got an internal battle going on right now, man.
Dude. This one's a tough one. It's between AFC South and NFC East for 6. Damn it, dude. I gotta put. Why is this so hard, dude?
I don't know, man.
Why is this like life or death?
You know why? Because your values are convoluted. The way you rank AFC North doesn't follow anything else going the rest of your list.
It definitely does.
No, it doesn't. And that's why you acting like that, man. That's why you struggle.
None of these other guys have elite player, or none of these other divisions have elite players.
When you got to actually take out your heart and actually just look at it and say, you know what, I think that over that, it throws you off, man. You're like a computer. I can't compute this. I need this love and affection for a guy in here to just say I love him. He's the guy. I thought you would be higher on the AFC East because of Cam Newton. I know you feel about Cam.
That's tough. No, I know exactly. This has just all been tough, dude. This is oh my goodness. All right, I gotta go AFC. I gotta go AFC South at 6.
Okay.
It's unfortunate. I don't want to do it.
I knew you were a Tannehill guy. I know it was Tannehill that did it.
I don't want to do it, but I gotta give my respect to Deshaun Watson and Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
Is he still in that top 15 range? I think so. Okay. I think so.
Okay.
You heard his interview. He's excited.
You saw Tannehill ball out last year. That got you excited too, huh?
Not at all.
Yeah, it's cool, bro. Tannehill got you going, man.
I can't knock him too much. So they're at 6, 7.
Oh, can I go? I thought I was supposed to go, right?
Wait, did you do your last?
No, I ain't do my 7 and 8 yet.
Oh, we just did 6.
Yeah. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we can go 7 and 8.
Okay, dude? I'm so lost because I'm so locked in on trying to figure this out. But all right, what's struggling.
So for
4,
me,
5, 6? Do we differ there? Obviously, you have AFC West a little bit.
Yeah, I think 4, 5, 6. I had AFC West, NFC North, AFC South. You went What did you go? NFC West?
NFC West at 4, AFC West at 5,
Gotcha,
AFC
okay.
South at 6.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that because even on my list, I have NFC West higher, but I have them at 2 versus me having AFC West at 4.
Yeah.
So that's the only difference right there.
I mean,
yeah.
I guess our main thing is AFC North messes it up a little bit
Yeah.
for me, having them a little bit higher because dude, Ben and Lamar, dude. Those are 2 elite guys. Those are 2 elite guys.
And then it's a lot of question marks after that.
I told you, Baker isn't that far off than some of these other 3 guys.
I think this is what's going on because you need to make sure Ben stays in that top 3 with this division. You pumping up Baker. If we had this conversation solely about Baker, you talking a different tune, man.
We talked about him.
No. If we were comparing him, just not division, just hey, who's the better quarterback right now, Baker or this guy?
I put him over Burrow for sure.
Okay,
remember
and we talked about that. And you said that was tough for you though. You said that was tough for you.
It was a little bit just because I wanted to pump up the rookie a little bit, and I made the whole argument about Burrow versus Tua. I said Burrow, but I couldn't deny that Baker was the better quarterback heading into this year for sure, and probably under like if you're gonna because people were saying he was the worst in the AFC North.
Yeah,
but like I said, dude, I don't versus all these other number 3 quarterbacks. Baker's not that far off. I'm telling you.
He's just in the bottom of those, not far off.
We just talked about between Baker and Dak. I mean, obviously I'm taking Dak, but remember for the whole contract amount, like I don't think Baker's
no.
That bad.
You said that. I didn't say that.
I know. I said that.
I'm rolling with Dak.
For $10 million, I'm taking Baker for sure.
Yeah, but let's be real. He's not going to get a $10 million contract. That's not how it works.
If he has a sloppy year, I mean, that's what I'm saying. If he has
a sloppy year, would you even want him then?
You could find the value there, is what I'm saying.
I don't agree with that, but we already had that conversation.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're not that far off on our 4, 5, 6. What's our last 2 then?
So at number 7, I had AFC East, and then at number 8, NFC East. For me, man, the reason why...
Really?
Well, you tell me your 7 and 8, and I'll tell you why what I went with.
It's just flip-flopped. Okay. I have AFC East worse.
So for me, the reason why I went AFC East over NFC East... Cam Newton, man, he's the big wild card. If he's healthy, he's good to go. Which quarterback in the NFC East is better, or even in the same vein as a Cam Newton? I mean,
with you.
Carson Wentz is really good, but he misses a ton of time. That's my question mark with him. Dak is really good as well on paper, but you still have your concerns in terms of what he can do. Can he be the guy by himself? Can he really be that franchise quarterback? Not just the starting quarterback, but like we talked about, man, being the guy, a top 5 guy. Love Danny Dimes. I think, man, I was watching him again, and he's exciting to watch, man. I think he's going to really take off this year. But at the same time, I'm still feeling that Sam Darnold's going to take off as well and do some really good things. But what really came down to me was when I look at the third quarterback, whether it's the fourth quarterback, whether it's Fitzpatrick or Tua, I'm taking either one of them over Daniel Jones right now, and definitely over Dwayne Haskins.
Wait, over Jones, Tua.
Right now, if Tua is Tua, yeah. The same way you feel about Burrow, that's how I feel about Tua. I mean, we even had that conversation.
Well, I don't feel like that strongly about Burrow. Yeah. I still understand, like, all right, we got a rookie coming in here. We don't know. I think.
Oh, excuse me. I said I didn't mean them over Daniel Jones. I mean, I'm taking Josh Allen over Daniel Jones. I'm taking Fitzpatrick or Tua over Haskins. That's what I meant.
Wait, are you doing? Then what are you doing then? Because here's how I got it compared out. I got Carson versus Cam, Josh Allen versus Dak. Darnold versus Jones, and then Haskins versus Dolphins quarterback.
So you went like that. So for me, I just simply look at it like, okay, who on this list is comparable to Newton? None of them. So,
well, dude, when he's good, that's the problem.
It's the health element.
This is really the problem because yes, if I could see Cam just going off this year, and that will catapult the AFC East over the NFC East.
Yeah.
But right now, I have him and Wentz probably at a wash. I have them both in like my top 10, like the bottom of the top 10, 11, whatever. So I think I would give the nod to Wentz just based off his last year was really good. That's really it. I think Cam could be better. I think he has more potential there, especially being up in New England. But then I look at the rest, man. I go Dak over Josh Allen for sure, and then D Jones and Darnold. I'd say that's a wash. I think I got more upside with Daniel Jones though for sure.
That's debatable.
And then definitely you go Dolphins over Haskins though. So that's like
so whatever you just said that the AFC East got the more over the NFC East.
It's 2v4. It's what do you want?
Oh man, stop!
And I got the top 2 in the NFC East over the top 2 in the AFC East.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
you said you taking Wentz over Newton.
Yeah, barely though, barely.
Nah.
So and then I think
that's where we flip.
And then I got Dak over Josh Allen. I think that's by a couple spots. But then I say it's a wash, but I'd probably take Daniel Jones over Darnold.
Of course, for your argument's sake.
Yeah, but I mean, even if we want to say wash, I still got a 2-1 then, a 2-1-1, like
and then Fitz makes it 2-2.
No, a 2-win, a 1 loss, and a tie, or not a Yeah, a tie. One tie.
Whoa, what?
A tie saying wash with Darnold and Jones. Yeah.
That's a tie.
If you want to say wash, but I'm taking Daniel Jones, so it'd be 3-1.
I'm taking Darnold over Daniel Jones.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all relevant, man.
Well, I mean,
even though I actually am higher on Daniel Jones, I think he'll be better sooner.
Are you saying right now then?
What do you mean?
With Darnold over Jones? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, right now Darnold Jones, but I think long term Jones over Darnold.
I think I even like Jones over Darnold right now, and I like the upside.
Fair enough.
I like, yeah dude. I guess, yeah. I mean, I could see it, dude. Because part of me wanted to put those last 3 were just killer. Like I couldn't do it, dude. I couldn't do it.
I saw you, man. You had this great just internal struggle going on right now,
East,
man.
The AFC East, and the AFC South. I think on any given day, I'd be interchanging any of those 3.
Absolutely.
I was. You saw me there. I was torn at my house. I have all my points listed here, and I just couldn't get to it. I was like, I was struggling. I guess I don't know why is it life and death for me.
See, for me, I don't have an issue with the AFC South. I think they are clearly better than the AFC East and the NFC East.
We both have them at 6.
Yeah, I guess for me, man, I'm always torn because I'm big on Dak, but I'm big on Josh. But then with Newton, I feel like the way you talk about the way you talk about Big Ben and Lamar, right? You're 2 star guys. Newton has proven that he is a mega star when healthy.
Dude, I agree. I'm big
Wentz
on
hasn't shown that. Dak hasn't shown. Wentz had a great year.
Wentz,
and you could say, he almost had the MVP season. I could say the same thing about Derek Carr. He almost had an MVP season until he broke his leg.
Don't do that. So Wentz,
so that's my thing. We could go there.
He's continued to prove that he's still a really good quarterback.
We can go there.
Carr has definitely taken a downturn.
I'm just saying we can go there. That's all. I'm saying, man.
Carr has definitely taken a downturn though. Wentz's year last year was really impressive in my opinion. Really impressive with the amount of talent that he had around him. It was pretty.
Man, how many excuses you looking for?
Pretty lackluster. Dude,
you just said Miles Sanders is a beast, right? He had him, so he's straight.
He's gonna be. But
Derek Carr last year still had 4,000 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, 8 picks.
Wentz's receivers it was bad, dude. It was bad.
They were that bad.
It was Greg Ward. I think they were picking him up off the practice squad. It was bad, dude. It was bad, but he made it work. He made it work. Beat the Cowboys for the NFC East.
It is what it is, man.
No, it's not even. It's weird too because I'm not even like that high on Wentz. It's just that I got that eye test. I see what he could do, dude.
I know how your eyes work sometimes, man. You take your glasses off, you can't see as good.
I'm definitely big on Cam though.
Are you eye test with glasses on or glasses off?
But if I'm big on Cam and Wentz, I think I got to give the nod to Watson over those 2 right now at least.
To Watson, well.
Deshaun Watson. That's why I got him at 6. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. I was like, what? Yeah.
And then you got Rivers and Tannehill, who I can't really. I'm not trying to knock 10. I'm not doing that here. I'm just not doing that.
There we go.
I got him at 6. I'm just not. I'm not going to do that right now. Phillip Rivers. Then Minshew's not that bad. So, yeah, I got them at 6.
I like it.
It was hard. Those last 3 were really hard for me. I don't know why.
I see. I thought you had like an invested interest in one of these. I'm like, man, what's going on here?
I'm sorry because I probably, in the middle of all that, I was probably getting so confused.
You were flustered, bro.
I mean, I was confusing myself. I was probably confusing everyone else. I know I was confusing you.
I was like, yo, I don't know where he's going or who's up. So just one more time to run it down, man, to make sure we all on the same page. Number 1 for me, NFC South. Number 2, NFC West. Number 3, AFC North. Number 4, AFC West. Number 5, NFC North. Number 6, AFC South. Number 7, AFC East. And number 8, NFC East.
1, NFC South. 2, AFC North. 3, NFC North. 4, NFC West. 5, AFC West. 6, NFC East. 7.
You just switched it again, bro.
I did because I told you I have it. I told you I have it marked like that. I have it marked with the AFC South at the bottom, but then I was like, whenever I really looked into it, I was like, I can't. So yeah, it's 6 AFC South, 7 NFC East.
Okay, and then 8
AFC East. Jeez, dude.
You are funny,
I told you, dude. I like you could look at it. I have it marked up like that, and I really looked into it more because I was like, Rivers.
I like how you just moved the mic away like you're not talking on the mic right now.
Rivers was the X factor.
Yeah.
So I got them at 6.
I like it, man. That was fun.
It was, and I apologize.
And it was fun watching you just have that just internal like, woo. Hey, that's kind of like watching you debate Big Ben versus Brady or something, man. Woo-wee.
That
was exciting, man.
That's a tough one.
I like it. So, man, I think we covered everything right there, man. That was fun.
That was fun, dude.
Nah, man.
That was fun. Again, I apologize if I hope
you Deke the sex symbol, man.
it was at least entertaining.
It's always
that
entertaining.
part.
You know that, man.
I hope it was. But yeah, that was tough. That was tough for me.
And shout out to the taco meat, man. I guarantee we have more women followers this time too, man.
We'll see, man.
Yeah. Shoot, as always, man, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Appreciate all the subscribers. Appreciate everybody viewing, downloading the podcast, everything that y'all been doing, man. Major love. Until next time.
Peace.